Welcome to this video. If you are here, it means you are tired. You are tired of losing control. You are tired of hurting the people you love. You are weary of regretting your words after the storm of anger has passed. You are exhausted from explaining your outbursts. You say, "I did not mean it." You say, "It just happened." You say, "I was angry." But the truth is harsh. No matter how much you apologize later, the damage is already done. Your words have already stabbed like a knife. Your silence has already broken trust. Your face has already scared someone who looked up to you. Your anger has built a wall between you and the people who love you. Let me ask you something. Have you ever broken an object during a moment of rage? Have you ever said something you can never take back? Have you ever watched yourself turn into a stranger? Have you become someone even you are afraid of? If the answer is yes, then this video is for you. But it is not just for anger. This video is also perfect for learning English. We are going to talk slowly. We will speak clearly, emotionally, and deeply. Every word is chosen carefully. It is designed to teach you about anger. But it is also designed to help you improve your English at the same time. Because the truth is simple, a calm mind learns faster. A peaceful brain absorbs information better. And an English-speaking future needs a controlled mind. So if you want to change your life, control your anger. If you want to become fluent in English, control your emotions. This is not just a self-help video. It is not just another list of tips and tricks. No, this is an emotional transformation. It is a journey. It is a battle between who you are right now and who you are meant to be. And I promise you one thing. By the end of this video, if you truly listen with your heart, you will change. You will walk away more powerful. You will be more peaceful. You will be more in control than ever before. Let us begin. What is anger? Anger is not just an emotion. It is a fire. It can cook your food, or it can burn down your house. It is one of the most powerful emotions in the human experience. It is also misunderstood and dangerous. Anger is a signal. It tells you that something feels wrong. It says, "I feel threatened." It says, "I feel disrespected." It says, "I feel out of control." It says, "I feel hurt." But we rarely say those things clearly. Instead, anger shows up as shouting. It appears as slamming doors. It becomes the silent treatment. It turns into explosive words, violence, or self-destruction. Anger is like holding a sharp sword. If you know how to use it, you can protect. If you do not, you will hurt yourself and everyone around you. Most people do not know this secret. You are not actually angry. You are in pain. You are afraid. You feel unheard and unseen. You feel like no one understands you. And so, anger becomes your language. But it is a language no one wants to listen to. That is why we must not suppress our anger. We must understand it. We must transform it. We must control it. Way 1. Pause before you react. When something triggers you, stop. When someone insults you, stop. When your boss blames you, stop. When your partner says something that hits deep, do not react immediately. Pause. Even just 3 seconds of silence can change everything. Because anger is an energy that rises fast. But it also passes fast. Reacting immediately is not power. Pausing is power. Imagine you are carrying a hot cup of tea. Someone bumps into you. The tea spills. You feel the burn. Now imagine your reaction. Instead of screaming, you take a second. You close your eyes. You say, "I know this was an accident." You say, "I do not want to make it worse." That is the power of a pause. That is what 1 second of awareness can do. It can protect a relationship. It can protect your dignity. It can protect your peace. Most people lose jobs, they lose marriages, they lose friendships and respect, not because they are bad people, but simply because they do not pause. They allow the fire to burn uncontrolled. Viktor Frankl taught us a great lesson. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom. That small space is where you win. That 3-second pause is where you win the war inside you. Next time you feel anger rising, do not speak. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. Count 1, 2, 3. Then ask yourself a question. What is the best way to respond without losing myself? This tiny pause will feel strange in the beginning, but after a few days, it becomes your superpower. Way 2. Name the real emotion behind the anger. What if I told you a secret? You are not actually angry, you just think you are. Because anger is not the root. Anger is a mask. It is a disguise. It is a loud voice that hides the quiet pain underneath. It is a shield your mind uses. It protects you from what is really going on. You are not angry, you are hurt. You are embarrassed. You are ashamed. You feel rejected, disrespected, forgotten, or scared. But usually, we do not say, I feel sad. We do not say, I feel ignored. We do not say, I feel like I do not matter. Instead, you say, I am angry. Why? Because anger is strong. Anger feels powerful. Anger protects your ego. But the truth is, it is a lie. Your brain tells you why this happens. Your brain is like a security guard. When it senses pain or danger, emotional or physical, it sounds an alarm. That alarm is anger. But here is the problem. Your brain does not always know the real source of the pain, so it gives you a shortcut. It says you are angry, but behind that anger is a real emotion. It needs to be named. And if you do not name it, it will control you. Let us say your best friend cancels plans at the last minute. You have been waiting all week. You cleared your schedule. You were excited. They text you, hey, sorry, can't make it, something came up. You instantly feel angry. But are you really? Let us name the true feeling. You feel unimportant because they did not consider your time. You feel disrespected because it was not explained properly. You feel alone because you were looking forward to connection. You feel powerless because you did not have control. Now stop and speak the truth. Say I am not angry. Say I feel disappointed. Say I feel let down. Say I feel like I was not a priority. Do you feel the shift? Suddenly your brain calms down. The fire begins to cool. You are no longer trying to fight. You are trying to heal. That is the power of naming the emotion. Your vocabulary creates your reality. If your only words are angry, mad, and furious, you are limited. Every emotion gets squeezed into the same bottle. But when you expand your language, you expand your control. Instead of saying, I am angry at my partner, be specific. Say I feel ignored. Say I feel unappreciated. Say I feel unsafe. Say I feel confused. This teaches your brain to be more honest, and honesty is the first step to emotional mastery. Next time you feel anger building up, ask yourself these 3 questions. 1. What exactly triggered me? Was it the words, tone, action, or silence? 2. What emotion am I feeling underneath this anger? Is it fear, shame, sadness, or rejection? 3. Can I say it clearly, even if just to myself? Do not do this to blame. Do it to understand. Say this sentence out loud. I am not angry, I feel. ... This sentence is your medicine. This is how you become emotionally free. When you name your emotion, it activates your prefrontal cortex. That is the logical part of your brain. That helps you think clearly and respond better. It reduces the power of the amygdala. That is the emotional brain that makes you shout. It makes you throw things, cry, or walk away. This is not just self-help. This is emotional engineering. This is mind rewiring. This is life transformation. Imagine the pain you will avoid. Think of how many fights could be prevented, how many relationships could be saved, how many tears could be avoided if people just paused and took a breath. If they just said, "I am not angry, I am hurting. I am scared you will leave. I am afraid I am not enough. I just wanted to feel important." This one habit alone can change the way you love, lead, and live. Anger is like a smoke alarm. If you ignore the smoke, the fire will grow. Naming the emotion is like finding the fire early. You catch it before it burns down everything you care about. Way 3. Breathe like a master. If you can control your breath, you can control your life. Let us begin with something shocking. Do you know what happens to your body when you get angry? Your heart starts racing, your muscles tighten, your voice gets louder. Your hands might shake, your face might turn red, your mind becomes foggy, your breathing becomes fast and shallow. You breathe like an animal preparing for war. It is not just emotion, it is biology. And here is the secret. If you want to control your anger, you have to control one thing. You must control the mechanism that regulates all of this, your breath. Imagine your body is like a car. Anger is like pressing down hard on the accelerator. Everything goes fast, too fast. But your breath is the brake. It is the master control switch to slow everything down. It controls the heart, mind, blood pressure, and hormones. Because your breath is unique. It is the only system in your body that is both automatic and controllable. You do not have to think about breathing. But when you do, you take back control. You master your mind, your body, and your anger. Most people do not know this. When you are angry or anxious, you start breathing from your chest. You do not breathe from your belly. This is called shallow breathing. It tells your brain something dangerous. It says, "We are in danger. Get ready to attack, protect, fight, run." That is how shouting begins. That is how violence happens. That is how people destroy relationships, jobs, and lives, just because they did not know how to breathe. Most people laugh when they hear the advice, "Just take a deep breath." They think it is a joke. But here is what science says. Deep breathing, especially belly breathing, activates your parasympathetic nervous system. That is the part of your brain that delivers a message. It says you are safe. You are calm. You are not in danger. You do not need to fight. And when this part is activated, your blood pressure goes down, heart rate slows, muscles relax, brain starts thinking clearly, emotions soften, and your anger disappears just with breath. Let me tell you a story that is 100% real. There was a soldier who returned home after war. He had seen violence, death, fear, and trauma. And whenever someone raised their voice, even slightly, he would explode. He would fly into a rage. He would throw things and punch walls. He would scare his own family. He did not want to, but he could not stop. Until one day during therapy, he was taught something simple. Before you do anything, breathe deep. He was told to do box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Repeat 4 times. He practiced it every day. And in just 2 weeks, he told his therapist the news. "My wife says I finally smile again. I did not scream when the toaster broke. My daughter hugged me without fear." All because of breath. Not medicine, not magic. Just learning to breathe like a master. Because that is where your calm lives. This is called diaphragmatic breathing. And it is one of the most powerful tools ever discovered for anger, stress, and anxiety. Every time you breathe deeply and slowly, your brain releases GABA. This is a chemical that reduces fear and aggression. It also reduces cortisol, the hormone of stress. You become less reactive. You become more focused. You become more gentle and patient. You become more in control. And you do not need a therapist. You do not need a guru. You do not need a book or money. You just need you and your breath. Now imagine someone who does not use this technique. Their breath becomes faster. They yell. They say things they regret. They slam the door. They walk out. Later, they sit down and hold their head in their hands. They whisper to themselves, "Why did I do that again? Why can't I control myself? I always ruin things when I get angry." And now guilt replaces anger. But guilt does not heal the wound. Guilt just builds walls of shame. All of it could have been prevented. Every fight, every mistake, every regret. It could have been stopped with just 4 slow breaths. You may not be able to control what people say to you. You may not be able to control the situation. You may not be able to control your past trauma. But you can control one thing, your breath. And that one thing changes everything. If you want to change your future, breathe. If you want to save your relationships, breathe. If you want to become fluent in English, breathe. If you want to stay calm in every storm, breathe. If you want to break the cycle of regret, start with one thing. Breathe like a master. Do not wait until you are angry. Practice every day. Make it your new identity. Because once you control your breath, you do not just control your anger, you control your destiny. Way 4. Leave the battlefield. When your peace is at risk, walking away is not weakness, it is wisdom. There is a moment during every argument. There is a moment in every fight, in every rising wave of anger. Your body is screaming at you. Say something. Defend yourself. Prove them wrong. Shout louder. You cannot let this happen again. It feels like a war. And the voice inside you speaks. It says, do not walk away. It says, you will look weak. It says, do not be silent, they will win. It says, do not leave, stand your ground. But here is the truth. The strongest people are the ones who know when to leave the battlefield. Because sometimes the battle is not worth the blood. Sometimes staying in the heat only creates damage, not growth. And leaving is not escaping. It is not surrender. It is choosing self-respect over self-destruction. We live in a world that says real men never back down. They say strong people fight back. They say silence is weakness and leaving is cowardice. But real strength is not in screaming. It is in knowing what you will lose if you stay. Because you might win the argument but lose your child's trust. You might prove your point but destroy your partner's heart. You might silence your enemy, but create a wound in yourself, a wound that takes years to heal. So I ask you this, what is the cost of staying on the battlefield? If the cost is your peace, your family, or your future, then walk away. Now, when you are angry, your body becomes a weapon. Your voice becomes sharp. Your hands clench. Your eyes harden. Your posture stiffens. And in this moment, logic disappears. Your brain is flooded with chemicals. Your thinking shuts down. You are ready for war, not wisdom. And there is only one cure in that moment. Space. Physical distance. Not forever, and not as an escape, but as a reset. Just leave the room. Step out. Close the door behind you. Take a walk. Drink cold water. Wash your face. Touch a tree. Sit in silence. Let the storm pass. Because in anger, everything you say is louder than your heart wants. Everything you do is stronger than your soul means. And once it is done, you cannot undo it. So protect what matters most by walking away. There was once a father who had a terrible temper. One night, his teenage son crashed the car. The father was furious. He wanted to shout. He wanted to break something and punish him. But instead, he looked at his son's face. The boy was scared, shaking, and ashamed. The father did not speak. He turned around. He walked into his room. He locked the door and cried. He stayed there for 30 minutes. Then he came out calm. He held his son and said, "The car can be fixed. But if I said what I was feeling earlier, I might have broken something inside you, something I could never fix." That is what walking away saves. It saves your child. It saves your relationship. It saves your identity. It saves you. When you leave a high-conflict space, 3 powerful things happen. Your environment shifts. The triggers, the face, the tone, the smell, the tension are gone. Your stress hormones drop. Cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine reduce in 15 to 30 minutes, but only if you remove yourself from the trigger zone. Your thinking brain returns. The prefrontal cortex, the logical brain, becomes active again. Your emotional fog clears. And when logic returns, regret disappears. You do not have to say sorry for something you never did. You do not have to undo the damage because you prevented it. This is real maturity. Sometimes people will challenge you. They will say, "Why are you leaving? Can't you handle the truth?" Oh, now you are quiet. You are just avoiding the fight. Let them say it. Because it is not about proving you are strong. It is about protecting your future. Weak people fight every battle. Strong people choose their battlefield. Wise people know that peace is more powerful than pride. But what if you cannot leave physically? Maybe you are at work or in a meeting. Maybe you are on a phone call or at a family dinner. Then create mental distance. Count backward from 50. Stare at one point in the room. Focus on your heartbeat. Imagine you are watching yourself from above. Mentally whisper, "This too shall pass." Train your brain to detach without running away. Even in the middle of chaos, you can find your calm. There is a version of you, your future self. That person is calm and wise. That person does not regret what they say. That person protects what matters. That person builds a peaceful home, a strong mind, and a respected heart. But that version is watching you now. They are asking, will you be strong enough to leave the battlefield? Will you save me from the mistakes I cannot undo? Quote, "If you want to protect your future, take a step back." Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is leave the battlefield. Not forever. Just long enough to return as the person you are proud to be. Way 5. Do not speak while you are angry. The words you say in 5 seconds of rage can take 5 years to repair. There is a moment in every person's life, a moment we all remember forever, a moment that haunts us like a shadow, and it usually starts with one sentence. "I did not mean it. I was just angry." But here is the brutal truth. Anger does not excuse your words. The damage is done. And sometimes the wound you create with your mouth becomes a lifelong scar. It lives in someone else's mind forever. So here is the most powerful truth you will hear today. If you are angry, do not speak, not even one word. Silence during rage is a superpower. Because when you speak in anger, you do not speak from your soul. You speak from your wound. You do not speak from your truth. You speak from your trauma. You do not speak to heal. You speak to hurt. And no matter how right you think you are, no matter how badly you want to win, once the words are spoken, they can never be erased. When you are angry, your brain is not working normally. Your limbic system, the emotional brain, takes full control. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical brain, shuts down. You stop thinking rationally. You stop thinking about consequences. You stop thinking about how much the other person loves you. You stop thinking about your future self. You only think, say it, let it out. They deserve it. But here is what your future self will say. Why did I say that? What have I done? Quote, I did not mean it. Now it is too late. The damage is real, the pain is alive, and the guilt becomes a prison. That is why I say again, do not speak while you are angry. There was a young woman in a relationship. One day, her boyfriend forgot their anniversary. She waited for a message, a call, or a gift. Nothing came. She felt ignored, forgotten, and hurt. Instead of expressing that pain, she screamed, "You never cared about me. You are just like everyone else. I regret meeting you. You are a loser." Quote. Later that night, she found out why he forgot. He was at the hospital. His younger brother had been in a car accident. He was not ignoring her. He was holding his brother's hand. She broke down in shame. They never recovered. He forgave her. But he could never forget the words. That moment became the end. One moment of rage. One mouth filled with fire destroyed something beautiful. This is why you must understand. Words are weapons, and once they are released, you cannot pull them back. The world teaches us to say what is on our mind. Don't hold back. Speak your truth. But not every moment is the right moment. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing, because silence in the middle of fire shows emotional mastery. It means you are protecting your future. You are thinking beyond the moment. You care about the relationship more than the argument. You choose peace over ego. You are not here to destroy. You are here to build. This is not about suppressing your voice. It is about delaying your voice until it is strong enough to heal, not hurt. When you feel that urge to explode, try this instead. Bite your tongue. Literally. This small physical act creates a pause. Lower your volume. Even if your heart is loud, just whisper to yourself, "Not now." Use a placeholder sentence. Say, "I am too emotional to talk right now." Say, "I will speak when I am calm." Write, don't speak. Open your Notes app or pick up a notebook. Write everything you want to say without anyone reading it. Later, when you read it with a calm mind, you will often delete 90% of it. That 90% would have ruined lives. By deleting it, you save your marriage, you save your friendship, you save your reputation. You save your child's innocence. You save your own self-respect. You walk away as someone who did not let temporary rage cause permanent destruction. You become the person who others trust. Because they know you do not speak in fire, you speak in truth. Now reverse the roles. Think of a time someone said something to you in anger. And even though they said sorry later, you still remember. Those words are like scars. That is the impact of angry speech. It does not just hit the ear, it hits the soul. So before you let your own words fly out in rage, ask yourself, am I about to become someone else's lifelong scar? If the answer is yes, do not speak. Wait, breathe, walk away, write it down. Do anything, but do not speak from the fire. Speak after the fire has burned out. When your words are water. When your heart is steady. When your soul is ready to build, not burn. There is someone in your life who loves you deeply. But if you speak while angry, you may say something that changes how they see you. It changes things forever. And one day, when they walk away, not because they stopped loving you, but because they got tired of defending themselves from you, you will look back and say, I wish I had just stayed silent that day. So do not wait for that regret. Let your silence protect what your voice might destroy. Silence is not weakness. Silence is maturity. Silence is power. Silence is protection, and silence saves lives. Way 6. Turn your anger into a journal. When your mouth is dangerous, let your pen speak. Let us be brutally honest. Most people do not want to manage their anger. They want to release it. They want to let it out. They want to scream and punch something. They want to shout the truth. They want to express the pain. Because when anger lives inside you, it feels like pressure. It feels like a balloon about to burst. But here is the mistake. Most people release it in the wrong direction. They release it toward people, toward loved ones, toward coworkers, toward themselves. They say things they regret. They hurt the people they love. They break objects and trust. And after the rage, all they are left with is guilt, silence, and shame. But what if I told you something else? You can still release the anger without destroying anything or anyone. How? By turning your anger into a journal. Your mind is like a highway during traffic. Thousands of thoughts, feelings, triggers, memories, fears, and pain all crash into each other. And anger is like a car moving at full speed. It is ready to hit anything that blocks the way. But when you write, it is like opening a side road. A secret road. A safe road. You take all that chaos from your brain, and you pour it onto paper, line by line, word by word, until your mind becomes quiet and your heart feels light. Imagine a man who once lost his job unfairly. He was blamed for something he did not do. No warning, no explanation, just a termination letter. He wanted to fight back. He wanted to call his boss and break something. He wanted to shout. But instead he picked up a pen. He wrote, "I am so angry right now. I could scream. I feel humiliated. I feel betrayed. I worked 6 years here. I gave everything. I do not deserve this, but I will not destroy myself. I will rise," he wrote for 40 minutes. He cried. He slammed the notebook shut. But he did not scream. He did not fight. He did not break anything. And most importantly, he did not burn bridges. That journal saved his dignity. It saved his peace. It saved his future. 6 months later, he was hired in a better company. And he still reads that page whenever he feels defeated. Here is the science behind it. When you write while angry, something powerful happens in your brain. Your limbic system, the emotional brain, calms down. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical brain, becomes active. Your thoughts become structured. Your rage becomes organized emotion. Your confusion becomes clarity. This process is called expressive writing. And it has been scientifically proven. It reduces anxiety. It lowers blood pressure. It improves emotional regulation. It strengthens memory. It increases long-term peace, and you do not need a therapist. Just a notebook, a pen, and a few minutes of honesty. Do not think. Do not plan. Just write. Write everything. Even the ugly thoughts. Even the embarrassing ones. Even the things you would never say out loud. Write like this. I hate what they did to me. I feel like no one understands me. Why am I always the one who stays quiet? I feel like breaking something, but I am writing instead. This pain is deep, but I will not let it define me. Your journal becomes your mirror. It reflects the real you, the one under the anger. And once you see yourself clearly, you realize something. I do not want to be the person who explodes. I want to be the person who understands. That is when transformation begins. Every night, even if you are not angry, take 10 minutes. Ask yourself, what made me feel disrespected today? Quote, what did I want to say but didn't? What was I really feeling underneath? How could I grow from this pain? Quote, the more you write, the less you will need to scream. because your mind will start clearing the anger before it becomes poison. You may not have someone to talk to. You may not feel safe expressing your emotions out loud, but you always have a notebook. And that notebook will never judge you. It will never interrupt you. It will never misunderstand you. It will never blame you. It will never leave you. Your anger needs a voice. But let that voice speak through ink, not injury. Through paper, not pain. Through reflection, not reaction. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Let the journal hold your fire so your life does not have to burn. Way 7. See your face when you are angry. Now we go even deeper. Anger is not just an emotion, it is a transformation. You do not just feel different. You look different. Your face changes. Your eyes become cold. Your eyebrows tighten. Your jaw clenches. Your lips curl. Your whole body stiffens. You become someone you would never want to meet. But here is the problem. You do not see it. Because in that moment, you are too full of rage to notice who you have become. That is why this method is so powerful and so brutal. Look in the mirror while you are angry. Face yourself, literally. See the version of you that shows up when your anger takes over. Here is a real story. There was a mother who often shouted at her child. She loved her child deeply, but whenever she was angry, she would explode. One day, after shouting loudly, she went to the bathroom. She looked in the mirror. What she saw shocked her. Her face was red. Her eyes were wide and angry. Her expression looked dangerous. She looked like someone her own child would be afraid of. And she broke down crying, not because she was angry, but because she had become someone she did not recognize. That mirror did not just reflect her face, it reflected her impact. She promised herself she would never let that face appear again. And she changed. Not through therapy, not through books, but through self-awareness. That is the power of reflection. Anger activates a part of your mind that disconnects you from your identity. You become reactive. You lose your sense of who you are. But a mirror forces you to return to yourself. It reminds you, this is what I look like when I am out of control. This is who my partner sees. This is what my child remembers. This is not the face I want to wear. When you witness your own anger visually, it becomes real. It becomes undeniable. It becomes personal. You cannot hide from your reflection. Next time you feel the rage building up, go to the mirror. Do not speak. Just look at your own face. Stay for 30 seconds. Watch what anger does to you. Then ask yourself a question. Would I want to be in a relationship with this version of me? Quote, would I want my child to remember this face? Is this the person I am proud of becoming? If the answer is no, that moment of truth will shake you. It will break you. And it will begin to reshape you. You gain self-awareness. You develop emotional memory. So next time you will remember that face. You build compassion for others who have seen you like that. You grow the courage to become a better version of yourself. Because anger is a mask, but the mirror removes the mask. It shows you exactly who you are in your worst moment. So you can choose a different path before it is too late. Some people do not change because they never see what they have become. But once you face yourself, you can never lie to yourself again. Once you stare into your own angry eyes, once you see the damage in your own expression, you either grow or continue destroying everything you touch. Let the mirror be your teacher. Let your face be your wake-up call. And let that image burn so deep into your soul that you never want to see it again. This is how you begin to change, not from outside pressure, but from internal truth. Way 8. Ask, what is the real pain behind my anger? Quote, you are not angry. You are wounded. And your wound is trying to speak. You feel angry. Your fists clench. Your heart pounds. Your voice wants to shout. But before you release that fire on someone else, ask yourself one question. What am I really feeling underneath all this? Because here is the harsh truth. Anger is never the first emotion. It is the last one. It is the one that shows up after you have been hurting silently, after you have been ignored, after you have been betrayed, after you have been misunderstood for too long. Anger is the tip of the iceberg, but underneath it there is a mountain of pain. When you get angry, your body says fight, but your soul is actually saying something else. I feel invisible. I feel abandoned. I feel unsafe. I feel worthless. I feel like nobody truly sees me. I feel like I have given too much, and now I am empty. But instead of speaking those words, you raise your voice, you slam the door, you shut down emotionally, you walk away, you insult, you threaten, you cry alone. Because that is easier than saying, I am hurt. There was a husband who always got angry when his wife came home late. He would shout, blame, accuse, question, and argue. He thought it was about time, but it wasn't. One day during counseling, he was asked a question. What are you really afraid of when she is late? He paused, and then tears came. He said, I am scared she has stopped loving me. I am scared she is happier without me. I feel unimportant. I am terrified I am losing her. That was not anger. That was fear. That was insecurity. That was a broken heart trying to look strong through rage. From that day, their relationship changed. Because they stopped arguing and started understanding. Ask these 3 questions when you are angry. 1. What am I really afraid of right now? Is it rejection, failure, or disrespect? 2. What part of me is hurting right now? Is it my pride, my past, or my trust? 3. Is this anger about this moment? Or is it something older that never healed? Sometimes you are not angry at your friend. You are angry at your father who never believed in you. Sometimes it is not about the broken cup on the kitchen counter. It is about the years you have spent cleaning for a family that never says thank you. This is how you become conscious of your own emotional history. Because unhealed pain becomes triggered rage. Once you learn to find the real pain, you stop punishing people for things they did not do. You stop ruining your life because of wounds from 10 years ago. You stop reacting blindly. And you start healing intentionally. And guess what? You stop being angry all the time because you finally realize something profound. I am not broken. I am just hurting. I am not dangerous. I am just misunderstood. I do not need to shout. I need to heal. That is when your whole life starts changing. Anger is like smoke, but there is always a fire hidden beneath it, and the only way to put out the smoke is to find that fire. Ask yourself, where is this really coming from? Not everyone who hurt you deserves a response. But you deserve healing. You deserve clarity. You deserve to understand yourself deeply. Because when you do, anger becomes unnecessary. You are not just managing emotions. You are becoming free from the pain that created them. And that is how you become powerful. Way 9. Train yourself daily, not during the storm. You do not learn how to swim when the boat is sinking. Most people only try to control their anger when it is too late. They are already shouting. They are already shaking. They are already breaking things. They are already walking away. They are already crying. But trying to control anger in the middle of a breakdown is impossible. It is like trying to hold back a flood after the dam has already cracked. You cannot build emotional strength in the middle of a crisis. You have to train yourself before the storm comes. And that is what most people never do. You watch a motivational video, you read a quote on Instagram, you feel calm for 2 hours. Then someone says something and boom, anger is back, worse than ever. Why? Because you did not build a system, you did not train for it. You did not practice. You just hoped that your emotions would behave. But emotions do not listen to hope. They listen to habits. Think of it like this. Anger is raw fuel. You can use it to destroy a house, you can use it to burn a forest, or you can use it to power a rocket that takes you to the stars. But that depends on how you have trained your mind to use it. So let me ask you, do you train your body daily but ignore your mind? Do you watch TV for 3 hours but never sit quietly for 10 minutes? Do you eat 3 meals a day but never feed your soul with discipline? If yes, your anger is untrained, and untrained emotion becomes your master. But once you begin training daily, consistently, intentionally, you become the master of your emotion. Let me show you exactly what to do. Meditate, even if it is just 5 minutes. Sit in silence. Focus on your breath. Watch your thoughts. Do not judge, just observe. This builds mental stillness. So when anger comes, your mind knows how to stay calm. Journal daily, not just when angry. Write how you feel. Write what triggered you today. Write what you learned from your own emotions. This builds emotional intelligence. Take cold showers. Why? Because it is hard. Because it teaches your body to stay calm under stress. Because it rewires your nervous system. Practice daily self-talk. Every morning, look in the mirror and say this: today I choose control. Today I will not react. I will respond. Today my peace is more important than my ego. Say it out loud. Train your subconscious. Use micro-delays. Every time you get triggered, say to yourself, 10 seconds. This practice becomes a habit of pause. A CEO of a billion-dollar company once spoke about this. He said, I meditate twice a day, not because I want peace. I do it because if I lose control during a negotiation, I could lose $10 million. He trained himself like an athlete because he knew that a single emotional mistake can destroy years of progress. That is how serious anger is. You do not train to be spiritual. You train to be ready. You train to win your battles in silence so you do not lose them in public. Anger is not the enemy. Lack of preparation is. You want control? Then build it like a warrior. Every day, every morning, every night. Let your discipline be stronger than your emotion. Let your training be louder than your triggers. And then when life throws its worst at you, you will not explode. You will not panic. You will not regret. You will breathe. You will pause. You will smile. Because you already trained for this moment. And now you are unshakable. Way 10. Forgive even if they do not deserve it. You do not forgive because they are right. You forgive because you want to be free. Let me say something hard. Something raw. Something honest. Anger is not always about what happened today. Sometimes it is about what happened years ago. And you are still holding it. Someone hurt you. Someone betrayed your trust. Someone humiliated you. Someone abused you. Someone lied to you. Someone broke something inside you and never said sorry. And now every time life gets hard, that old pain rises again. That memory explodes again, and your anger turns from a spark into a wildfire. Not because of this moment, but because you are still carrying a moment from the past, and it is still burning inside you. That is why this last way is so important. because no matter how many techniques you use, you will never be truly free from anger until you learn to do one thing: forgive. But forgive who? Not just the people who wronged you, not just the ones who made you cry. Sometimes you need to forgive deeper. Forgive the parent who never protected you. Forgive the friend who betrayed you. Forgive the teacher who crushed your confidence. Forgive the partner who broke your spirit. Forgive the stranger who insulted your pain. Forgive the world for being unfair. And most of all, forgive yourself. Because anger is not just about others. It is often anger toward your own reflection. Why did I let that happen? Why didn't I speak up? Quote, why didn't I leave sooner? Why do I always get hurt? Why do I hate myself? This is the deepest form of rage, self-anger, and the only medicine for it is forgiveness. Let us be clear. Forgiving does not mean they were right. Forgiving does not mean you are weak. Forgiving does not mean you forget. Forgiving does not mean you let them back into your life. Forgiveness is not for them. It is for you. You forgive because you are tired of being angry. You are tired of carrying the weight. You are tired of letting someone else control your emotions. You are tired of reliving pain that already happened. You forgive because you want peace more than revenge. There was a man who was abused as a child. For years, he lived with shame, rage, and silence. Every time he saw his reflection, he hated who he was. Every relationship he had, he destroyed. Not because he did not want love, but because the anger inside him had turned into poison. One day, he wrote a letter to his abuser. He did not send it. He wrote, "You broke me, but I will not let you break my future. You stole my childhood, but you will not take my peace. I forgive you, not because you deserve it, but because I deserve to be free." He burned the letter, and for the first time in 27 years he cried. Not out of pain, but out of release. That was the day he began living again. Do you know what happens to your body when you live in anger? Higher blood pressure, constant muscle tension, digestive issues, sleep problems, immune system weakness, fatigue and depression, and in many cases, physical illness. Anger lives in the body. Forgiveness releases it. It is not just emotional healing, it is physical liberation. That is why people who forgive often look lighter. They breathe easier, they smile deeper because they are free. Some people will never say sorry. Some people will never admit what they did. Some people will move on with their life while you are still trapped in the pain they created. So what do? You do not wait for their apology. You do not wait for justice. You do not wait for karma. You choose to let go without their permission. You say, "You do not get to live in my head anymore. You do not get to control my emotions. You do not get to define who I am. You take your power back." That is what forgiveness is. A quiet decision that screams freedom. You have carried the pain long enough. You have replayed the story long enough. You have punished yourself long enough. It is time to put it down. Not because it was not real, not because it did not matter, but because you matter more. Let your future be louder than your past. Let your peace be stronger than your pain. Let your soul breathe again. You forgive because you are ready to be free. You are not your anger. You are what you choose to become after it. If you watch this entire video, I want you to know something very important. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not too late. And you are not your past. You are a human being who feels deeply. You have been through pain. You have been misunderstood. You have stayed silent when you wanted to scream. You have cried alone when no one was looking. You have carried things inside your heart that nobody even knows about. But from this moment forward, everything can change. Because you now hold something most people never find. The ability to understand your anger, to pause, to breathe, to walk away, to reflect, to forgive, to heal, to grow. This is your power. This is your moment. This is your new identity. From today, I want you to say this. My anger does not define me. My reaction is my choice. I am in control. I am free from the past. I am not here to fight. I am here to build peace. I forgive. I release. I rise. And one more thing before you go, if this video touched your heart. If you felt even one moment that changed you, then do not keep it to yourself. Someone you know is fighting a battle with anger right now. Someone you love is hurting others because they do not know how to deal with their own pain. Share this with them. Help them breathe again. Help them begin their journey too. And remember, this video is not the end. This is the beginning of your next chapter. The chapter where you are not just controlling anger. You are reclaiming your power. You are becoming your best self. You are finally living with peace, strength, and clarity. So if this video helped you, subscribe for more. Share this message with someone who needs it. And start living like the person you were born to become. Because the world does not need more people who shout louder. The world needs more people who understand deeper. And now you are one of them. Thank you for watching. Never forget, you are not your anger. You are your power. You are your peace. And your story is just beginning.